I think, out of desperation, I soiled my relationship with the majority of my professional network. I've been out of work for a year, going through a very rough time with a lot of personal and financial issues from being in a marriage with a very destructive narcissist. A few years ago I had a thriving career, strong finances, was a homeowner, etc. But today I have nothing. I have been feeling very desperate in my job search as I know I'm facing steeper competition now that, thanks to COVID, far more people are out of work. I thought I'd gain more traction reaching out to old co-workers I knew weren't affected by the pandemic because they know my work and what I'm capable of. I sent out about 35 emails, personalized to an extent but for the most part the same gist to them. I am starting to get worried perhaps I came off a little too desperate in my approach. I did get into some of my own personal struggles. I thought it would just go to show how anything they could offer in help would mean a lot to me, even something as small as a good word. However, after a week I only got one "Hey, so sorry to hear but I'll keep an eye out for you," and another that said this: "Hi, Tway from Air. Good to hear from you, but I wish under better circumstances." Frankly, while I get you're in a bad way, I have a lot of out-of-work friends and colleagues struggling in a variety of ways, no different from you. Of course I will keep an eye out at company, if there's a job which would be a good fit. However, I'd strongly recommend you re-examine your outreach strategy. As I said, it's a difficult time for everyone right now. Focus on your merits, not your struggles. So do you think this was the general takeaway of my emails? Like I said, I personalized them all so I'd rather not share. But the general approach was, hey, see, you're doing great work at whatever company. Me, I've been struggling since we last worked together, then went into appropriate detail depending on how close we were. COVID was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, and I know now I'm facing even tougher competition, but I really need a break. You know me and what I'm capable of when given the chance. Please, anything you can do or anything you hear of would go really far. I'm so concerned I'm just digging myself deeper while also mortified to face anyone else I reached out to now. Too long didn't read. I sent a desperate email to former colleagues amid a struggle to find work. One ex-co-worker called me out for being insensitive to others and their issues. Did I make a desperate fool of myself? Man, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. What you did was a really big mistake. When you write an application, and it doesn't matter these were former colleagues or whatever, you were essentially writing an application. Never get into your personal struggles like that unless you get an interview and they ask for your motivation. And even in that case, it's advisable you keep oversharing to a minimum. When you write something like what you did, it comes off as you trying to pull yourself over others who might apply with a pity story that has nothing to do with how you could be useful. Throwing a pity party for yourself like that basically breaks the balance in your current relationship, and puts extra pressure on them. The only scenario you can afford do that in is if someone owes you big time. But even then, please never get personal like that unless specifically asked for when it concerns a professional relationship. The fact that it's about COVID and all that is irrelevant. Whatever the case, people have a personal life and plenty of common struggles anyway. They don't go to work to be burdened with even more of someone else's struggles. Personal issues or struggles have no place in a job application. Sure, maybe these people were friends once upon a time, but you were appealing to them in a professional capacity. That would necessitate you have your professional hat on. Doing otherwise makes it awkward. Also, as the person who replied said, everyone is going through a hard time. By mentioning how you struggled while asking for a position, implies you're struggling harder than anyone, or that just because you are struggling you deserve more. I know this isn't the message, but it can be read that way. You screwed up. This doesn't mean this is the end. Write a quick note of apology back to the person who responded. Painful as it was, they did you a big favor. Don't contact anyone else with apologies. Hopefully they'll pretend it didn't happen, if you will. The one who replied, say it was good to hear back and get the constructive criticism you needed. Apologize for the inappropriateness and any discomfort caused and leave it at that. That shows you can admit you're wrong, take concrete and can recover well and move forward. Then keep going. If you're financially struggling, get any job you can. And polish your resume again. Take a course, do volunteer work or whatever that will make you seem like a good contender. Maybe it won't be easy, but you will get there. You are applying for jobs and networking. You should have mentioned your skill set and what you're looking for. Instead you sounded like a beggar, panhandling on the street and using sob stories of your 5 kids and dog needing vet attention. Professional network doesn't care about your sob story, and it makes it awkward as hell. You should have adopted a more professional tone. Someone else wrote a great example of an email you could have sent which would have made the same point but been more mature sounding. Unfortunately, yes, it came off desperate and unprofessional. If an old co-worker sent me this email out of the blue, I would not feel comfortable recommending them for an interview. Did you include anything else with these emails like a resume or a LinkedIn? Were any of these people in hiring or senior/managerial positions? Because if not, the best that most of them can do is point you to their company's hiring site or a job posting. I think your best strategy now is to brush up on your job search skills. Don't be afraid to take lesser or filler work while you job search, if you can. Do not reach out again to apologize for the first email because it will come off as badgering them. Emo. F29, my partner, M32, criticizes the things I like and gets upset at me for taking it personally. TL Doctor, my boyfriend constantly trashes anything he doesn't like. I've asked him to stop and told him it upsets me. He says I'm too sensitive and that no one else gets upset, so why should I be upset? Edit, sidebar. He definitely has emotional issues like PTSD and bipolar with mania emphasis. I definitely also have major depression and generalized anxiety and panic disorder, but one of us is medicated and it's me. My partner has a dark sense of humor and finds it fun to roast the things that his friends like that he thinks are dumb or bad. He'll get on this little tirade whenever he is around something he doesn't like. For example, music. If it's not his music, he'll just complain until it changes. Will call anything he doesn't like trash, poison, dumpster fire, etc. It doesn't seem to bother his friends, but it makes me not want to share things with him because I feel like I'll just get shit on for liking something he doesn't like. And I get kind of embarrassed when he starts complaining. I've asked him to stop and he says I'm being too sensitive and no one else gets upset. And he says his friends do it to him and I don't get upset at them, so it's a double standard and he can't abide that. He uses examples of things I've shown him that he does like as a way to say that he doesn't shit on everything that I show him. But really the problem is that if he doesn't like something, he will trash it really loudly until it stops. And it's really exhausting for me. I feel like I'm not being heard when I tell him that it's exhausting for me. We got in a fight about it recently and I left and went home and he said I was very disrespectful for leaving without saying anything to him. It was not the most mature thing to do, but I wasn't in a space where I could have a conversation about it calmly. How do I get him to understand that when he excessively criticizes things that I like, that it feels like he's criticizing me for having bad taste? It's okay to like different things, but I don't feel like it's okay for him to constantly tell me how shitty the things I like are. He says if I like something, why should it matter how he feels about it? I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm being unreasonable or if I'm just communicating badly. How do I get him to understand that when he excessively criticizes things that I like, that it feels like he's criticizing me for having bad taste? You've done all you can for this. You've told him what he's doing and how is hurtful to you. He's already told you he doesn't care. It won't change. It won't improve. You've got to make your decision from there. Nah, just end it. He's a jerk. You're not being unreasonable. You've explained nicely how you want to be treated and he has declined. Since his friends enjoy this treatment, he can date one of them instead. He doesn't have dark sense of humor, he's an asshole. You told him this behavior bothers you, and he doesn't care. Expect this behavior from a 14-year-old, not someone in their 30s. Your BF is a 32 years / trying to behave like an edgy teen. There was a time where we thought being an ass might make us look cool, but most people outgrow this phase relatively quickly because you realize nobody likes an ass. I don't think he can change at this point because it seems the behavior is now part of him. Imagine what it would feel like to date someone who encourages your interests instead of shitting on them all the time. You need to go find that person, and leave this one behind. I think my younger brother, 19M, might be an alcoholic, and I, 22F, feel helpless. I apologize if this is the wrong community to turn to, but I was hoping to get some advice on how to best approach this. TL, Doctor, 19M brother works in a restaurant evening shift to close, goes home and drinks all night by himself or with friends, and sleeps until work the next day. My brother is unapproachable about this. I've watched a sweet kid turn into someone with serious anger issues when he hasn't drank that day yet. For instance, he gets off of work at 9 PM and goes home to my mom's, and something so stupid will set him off, like my mom asking him to take out the trash before he goes to a friend's place. I don't live at home anymore, and my parents split up about 2 years ago. I went through my own spout of substance abuse problems, and I went to a mental hospital when I was his age to detox. I went to AA meetings, drug therapy, and regular therapy. I got into some slight trouble with the law over marijuana. I have my SHT together now. I work full-time at a doctor's office and am back in school taking 5 classes, so I'm insanely busy. I worry that I set a horrible example for him, someone who looked up to me and thought the world of me while we were growing up. My own stuff aside, I feel like my 19-year-old brother has been put on the back burner. My parents collectively don't worry about him anymore, as I have a 12-year-old brother also. I want so badly to be there for him, but the only time I hear from him anymore is when he's texting me or calling me at 4 AM telling me he loves me and misses me. It's breaking my heart, and I really want to help him, but I'm afraid he's going to blow up on me. I would love to take him to a meeting, even if he doesn't get anything out of it. I know of a meeting with guys around his age that might help, at least with hearing their stories. This is really sad. It sounds like he's getting middle-childed. Maybe you could ask him to a meeting, but phrase it in the way that he would be going to support you rather than he needs to go, and hope he takes something away from it to get the ball rolling. Of course, you know better than I that you can't make him quit, but you can let him know subtly that the option is there if he wants it, and he'll have your support. This is so hard, and I hate that you're going through this. Happy to hear that you were able to get your life back on track. I got clean/sober at 21 because I really didn't see another way out. It also helped that my siblings and parents were extremely /concerned about me. If I were you, I'd talk to him about your observations, tell him your story, if he doesn't already know all about it, and then get yourself to an Al-Anon meeting. Best of luck to you both. Maybe the approach needs to be all questions instead of "Hey, I'm noticing this." Since you said he gets defensive, you'll have to be careful not to sound accusatory. No pressure, but I do feel like it has to be from you. Partially BC, you said you feel like he's on the back burner at home, and partially BC of the texts you receive so late/early in the morning, even when he's beside himself. He wants/misses you. You're the big sissy, as am I, and if my younger sibling was going through this, I would feel somewhat responsible. But girl, please don't blame yourself. All you can do is be there in the best way that you can, and I do think asking him to accompany you to a meeting is a great idea. I mean, you're gonna have to actually talk to him about it and express your concerns regardless if he gets angry. You could start out just talking about your own experience and just maybe offer him someone to talk to if he's upset or about his drinking. Maybe he'll be receptive, maybe he won't be, but I mean, you probably know someone has to want to quit and want to change before they will. Right now all you can do is offer support and hope that he finds his way before he finds rock bottom.